Bright Cutie. Every student matters.
Hello and welcome back to our English class. My dear students of class 7, this is your English grammar class and we are in the 12th chapter, okay? I want you to be ready with your textbook, chapter 12, direct and indirect speech. We know that in grammar, we have the topic speech. We have already been doing this in our lower classes, and in the speech, we have two types, that is direct and indirect speech. You will find this in page number 69 to 78. I repeat, you will find this topic in page number 69 to 78, and this will be in your English grammar class. And I'm Miss Vilha Villiers from Mount Sinai High Secondary School. Today, we will be learning on how to change a speech, that is from direct to indirect or indirect to direct speech. It can be either ways, okay? Sometimes your questions can be changed the following sentences from direct to indirect speech. Sometimes it can even be from indirect to direct or just change the narration. Narration is the other name for speech, okay? I want you to keep this in your mind. Narration is the other name for speech. And under narration, we have direct and indirect speech. And indirect speech is also called as reported speech. So, when you hear the word report, you might also have recollected of things that you have done. Sometimes when a student is always reporting things to the teachers, you don't like it. Reporting just means saying it to the third person. If I say something to you, I'm the first person, you are the second person. You go and say it to the third person. That is called reporting. When you were young, you can all imagine of that. When your friend do something to you, okay? When your friend in the class does something to you, whether he or she is your best friend or not, you don't bother. You are always eager to run and report it to your teachers. That is just reported speech, okay? Someone says something to you, you are saying it to the third person, that becomes the reported speech. There are two ways of reporting what someone has spoken. Yes, this is what I'm talking about. There are two ways of reporting what someone has spoken. One is when the exact word of the speaker is quoted. That is direct speech. If your teacher tells you, okay, something, go and bring my marker. Example, the teacher forgot her pen, marker pen in the office, and then she asks you to go and bring her marker. Instead of saying the teacher asked me to bring her marker pen, if you go and say, teacher said go and bring my marker. That means you are reporting in the direct speech. You are saying in the direct speech, example, my teacher said to me, you are the most intelligent student. Teacher is giving a compliment to you for your intelligence, okay? The teacher is complimenting you for your intelligence. If you are reporting this to your parents, you go home, you are excited because that particular day, your teacher said something good about you and you are so excited to tell your mother as soon as you reach home. For class 7, I know you don't do that much, but for the lower class students, they can't wait to reach school if their teacher has said something to them in order to say it to their mother, to their parents, or to their sisters and brothers, isn't it? So, my teacher said to me, you are the most intelligent student. This is direct speech, and in a direct speech, you have to give a comma, right? And after that, after the comma, you have to start quoting with inverted commas. These two commas upside are called as inverted commas, okay? We call this as inverted commas. I hope you know that. And you can always close it. You have to always close it with another inverted comma here, double inverted comma, after the full stop. And the second one is when the words are put in your own words. Instead of reporting the exact word that someone said to you, you can convert it into your own word. Like, my teacher told me that I was the most intelligent student. I want you to have a look at these two sentences and see the difference. You are the most. Verbs are always important in grammar, okay? Of course, there are the other parts of speech that are also important, but in a verb, we know that in almost all the topics, you need to know a verb. And even here, you are the most. The word are has been changed to was, right? You has been changed to I. I will teach you more on the details of this. But instead of saying you are the most intelligent in the indirect speech, it has been changed to past tense. It will be changed to the corresponding tense, okay? Which I will elaborate later. So instead of saying you are the most, it has been changed to that I was the most. You has been changed to I, are has been changed to was. Okay, that means if you get a question in the present tense, you will have to report it in the past tense. If you get it in the present continuous, you have to report it in the past continuous. Past tense will be past perfect. I'll show you a chart again. But this is something that you have to understand. And remember, my teacher said to me, said becomes the reporting verb. If you know what is a reporting verb, if said is in present tense, example, my teacher says to me. If the reporting verb is says, the tense will remain unchanged. But since this is past tense, according to this, your tenses will change even in the indirect speech. Okay? And some points to remember. In a direct speech, remember we are talking about direct speech now. In a direct speech, exact words of the speaker are put within inverted commas. Yes, this is what we were talking about in the previous slide. Exact words of the speaker are put within inverted commas, and inverted commas are given there in the bracket. The second one is the first word of the reported speech starts with a capital letter. The first word of the reported speech starts with a capital letter after the inverted commas. Okay? When I say it has to start with a capital letter, do not forget your inverted commas again. Inverted commas are a must in your direct speech. And then the third one, the direct speech is separated from the remaining sentence by a comma. I hope you understood that in the previous slide. I'll just show you the example. My teacher said to me, there's a comma, right? My teacher said to me, you see a comma. This is what we are talking about. It has to be separated from the remaining sentence by a comma. And then in an indirect speech. Now we are doing an indirect speech again. No inverted commas are used. Yes, there will be no inverted commas that will be used, because inverted commas are required only when you are quoting the exact word of someone, and in an indirect speech, we are not quoting the exact word, but we are putting in our own word. Okay? No comma is used to separate the reported speech with the rest of the sentence. Like the previous one, here we see the direct speech is separated from the remaining sentence by a comma. The direct speech is separated from the remaining sentence by a comma, but in an indirect speech, no comma is used to separate the reported speech with the rest of the sentence. Use conjunction if necessary to join the sentence. Sometimes there will be full stop in a direct speech. If it is required, you can bring in a conjunction, but you do not have to bring so many unnecessary extra words, because your main work here is to change the speech from direct to indirect and not to change the message of the sentence. You can use a conjunction only if it is very necessary. Okay? The tense in the reported speech will be changed to past. Example, the word is will be changed to was. I repeat, the tense in the reported speech has to be changed to the past tense. Okay? I said, you are the most intelligent student. Are has been changed to was. My teacher told me that I was the most intelligent student. Right? Was is used instead of are. This is what we are talking about. And rules for changing a tense. Remember, tense is very important in speech. Even if you have learned about the technique of changing a speech from a direct speech to indirect speech, or from an indirect speech to direct speech, as long as your tense are not corrected, it can never be considered correct. Okay? As long as your tenses are not correct, it can never be considered correct. The first rule for us today is, if the reporting verb is in the present or future tense. Remember, I've been talking about this. If the reporting verb is in the present or future tense, the tense of the reported speech remains unchanged. Just because your teacher said that you have to change it into past tense when you are doing a direct to indirect speech, it is not applicable when the reporting verb is present tense or future tense. You know what is future? Future is something that has not happened yet. Present tense is something that is at the moment. The example that I've given you here, he says the sum is difficult. The ones that I have darkened here, he says. Says is the reporting verb, right? Is the verb, is the main verb. He says the sum is difficult. Now, forget about the words that are quoted here in this sentence. We have to focus on this one, that is says. He says the sum is difficult. And then in the indirect speech, I said if the reporting verb is in the present or future, the tense of the reported speech remains unchanged, right? Since this is says, he says that the sum is difficult. And rule number 2, if the reporting verb is in the past tense, the tenses in the reported speech are changed into corresponding past tenses. If you do not know correspondence, it means the next tense. Let's take it that way because that is going to be easier for us to understand. Irene said, Yantan goes for a walk daily. Irene said, not says. Irene said, Yantan goes for a walk daily. Here, says is the reporting verb. And in the second example, in rule number 2, said is the reporting verb, right? Since the reporting verb is in past tense, here I've given the tenses of the reported speech are changed to corresponding past tenses. Irene said that Yantan went for a walk daily. Why did we change goes into went? Because the reporting verb said is in the past tense. You got it? Irene said that Yantan, see we have to add the word that in a direct speech. Irene said that Yantan went for a walk daily. So we have changed the word goes into went. Alright? And then the next point, change of adverbs or words denoting time. There are so many examples in our book, but I do not want to confuse you with so many things. I've just given you some examples. For example, this will be changed to that. If I give you a sentence, the teacher said that we will have a test this morning. Test, class test, okay? The teacher said we will have a class test this morning. You can change it into the teacher said that we would have a class test that morning. Or this day or today can be changed to that day. This will be changed to those. The teacher said come here. The teacher told me to go there. Example. Here will be changed to there, right? Here has to be changed to there. Thus, so. The teacher said thus, example. The word thus has to be changed to so. Today, that day, as I've mentioned that already. Now, then. We have to start studying now. The teacher said that they had to start studying then. Example, if she is talking about a past event, we have to put it that way. Let's read these words together once more. This will be changed to that. Remember, this side will be direct for direct speech and the other side will be for indirect speech. I did not mention it because I know you will be able to understand this as we are doing direct and indirect speech. And we have already learned about some rules that should be applied when we are doing a direct and indirect speech. Okay? Let's read it together. This, that, this, those, here, there, thus, so, today, that day, now, then. There are so many other words like change of pronouns also. I will be changed to you, right? Or you can be changed to I or whatever. And this difference, I want you to know THIS will be for singular. THESE, the pronunciation stands the same. The pronunciation is the same, but you have to know that this is used only for singular. Example, this finger. Okay, if I want to point to a singular object, it has to be THIS. But if I have to say for a plural object, THESE, I have to say these fingers. Because these fingers are not just one, but it is 5 here. You can see that there are 5, but if you want to point to a particular finger, you can say this, THIS. Of course, we are not doing numbers right now, but if there's anyone confused with these two, I want you to be clear with this right now. And then the next one is changing direct to indirect in different types of sentence. There will be different types of sentences, okay? And I will show you how you have to use it in a declarative or assertive. Okay, declarative or assertive. If there is anyone who does not know what is declarative or assertive, it is a statement. Example, I am going to school today. That is a statement. You are declaring something, right? So declarative, as the name itself suggests, it is a statement. You are stating something, or you maybe the earth is round. That itself is a declarative sentence because you are declaring that the earth is round. Said is usually changed to told. Remember, said is usually changed to told. That is used as a conjunction. We have seen that the teacher told me that I was the most intelligent student in the class. That, the word that is used as a conjunction because that is used to join the two parts of the sentences together, the quoted words and also the reporting verbs and the remaining sentence, right? Where we remove the commas by using the word that, isn't it? We have to remove the commas by using the word that. The teacher said can be, the teacher told me that, if it is a declarative or assertive sentence. And in the interrogative sentence, that means the words or the sentences that ask question, said is changed to ask or inquire. Demand, wonder, want to know, etc. can also be used. The teacher asked me, or the shopkeeper asked me, the shopkeeper inquired of me if I want to take that particular object. You cannot, it's not you cannot, but it is always nice to see a student using different kinds of reporting verbs in the indirect speech. The doctor inquired if I had taken my medicine. Because that is a question, right? You can use those kind of sentences. Say and tell. Sometimes the reporting verb say is changed to told, right? Sometimes the reporting verb say is changed to told, and then that is in the indirect speech. Changing personal pronouns and possessives. The first person is changed to second or third person. First means I or we, isn't it? I can be changed to you. We can be changed to they. I said my teachers are very understanding. Here, I said that my teachers were very understanding. It is a first person, but you don't have to change it again because I is there. If the person speaking is he said my teachers are very understanding, we have to change it like he said that his teachers were. I've just given one more example here. He said my teachers are very understanding. He said that his teachers were very understanding. So you see the two difference. If the speaker is a third person, you can change it to the third person again in the indirect speech. Okay. And then we are going to end our lesson for today here. I'm sure you have learned speech well. Remember, the other name for speech is also called as narration. We have two types of speech, that is direct and indirect speech. Indirect speech is also called as reported verb. And one of the most important thing is in a direct speech, you have to put inverted commas to quote the exact word. But in an indirect speech, you don't have to use that again. And then the other one is you have to change the sentences into past tense or the corresponding past tenses if the reporting verb is in the past tense. But if the reporting verb is in the present tense or the future tense, the tense will remain unchanged. With this, we are going to conclude our class for today. Thank you so much for being here with me.